Okay, there we go. So I just finished, this is a beautiful photo, by the way. I love this photo. I just finished the first two episodes of Presumed Innocent, a new show starring Jake Gyllenhaal on Apple TV Plus. This review includes spoilers. If you have not seen the episodes, pause, go watch both episodes, and come back to this. Okay, so let me tell you all the premise in case you don't know the premise. So the premise is that Jake Gyllenhaal plays a prosecutor named Rusty. Ruth Negga plays Barbara. His wife, Carolyn, who's pictured on the right here, is his colleague. She's a prosecutor as well. They work together. He was having an affair with Carolyn, and in episode 1, he finds out that Carolyn has been murdered, and she was found in her underwear, tied up in a similar fashion to the victims of a serial killer who Rusty and Carolyn put away. So that's the premise. So first off, right off the bat, I've watched Jake Gyllenhaal in many things. I'm a huge fan of his as an actor. I typically would say that Jake Gyllenhaal can play anything. He is not giving lawyer in this at all. And if you look at this performance and you contrast it to Joshua Jackson's performance in the series Fatal Attraction based on the film, which if you have not seen that, it's on Paramount Plus. It's very good. I highly recommend it. Joshua Jackson plays the lawyer Dan Gallagher, same character as in the film. And he hit it out of the park. He was very believable as an attorney. And of course, I pay extra special attention to performances of attorneys because I am one. And I have worked as a criminal defense attorney before. And so I've negotiated with a lot of prosecutors. And so I'm familiar with how they act, how they conduct themselves. Jake was not giving that at all. And I felt like a lot of his dialogue was not good. And it was weird because it was just him. Like the dialogue for everybody else, I thought was great. But and I felt like there were a lot of awkward moments with him. And like I said, I think Jake Gyllenhaal's a beautiful actor. So I don't know if he's being directed to act this way. I don't know what is going on. But the performance is just not great. And I don't know why. By another contrast, Ruth Negga's performance as Barbara, his wife, is really, really beautiful because it's a very kind of a quiet performance. She's a woman who I think she restrains herself a lot. She doesn't say everything that she wants to say. And I think what's great about performances like that is in the moments of silence, in the moments when she's not saying anything, there's so much as an actress that she can do with her face, with her movements. And so it's a really beautiful, strong performance by her. I also love their performance by Chase Infinity, who plays their daughter, Jaden. I love her performance. I thought it was really great. It was really heartfelt. And also one of my other favorite characters in the series is played by Bill Camp, who plays Raymond, who's a former colleague of Rusty's and who Rusty goes to represent him because he previously worked as a prosecutor. He works with the prosecutors that are charging Rusty with murder. And Rusty's like, listen, I know that you can get in their heads. You're the best lawyer I know. Will you represent me? And he doesn't give a definitive answer, but he shows up at Rusty's arraignment. For the non-lawyers, an arraignment is a hearing in court where your bail is set typically. Sometimes your first appearance in court and your arraignment are two separate hearings. Sometimes they're the same one, but your arraignment is typically your first appearance in court, maybe not, but your first appearance in court where you bail is set and where you enter your plea of guilty or not guilty. So given that this is a murder charge, obviously Rusty entered a plea of not guilty, and his bail was set at, I think it was 1.5 million signature bond. A signature bond is where you can just sign your name and be released. You don't have to pay anything. So usually if you have no criminal record, you can get out on a signature bond. I don't know that in real life somebody would be released from jail on a $1.5 million signature bond when they're charged with murder, but it's possible that in real life somebody that had served many years as a prosecutor could. So that is the reason why, most likely, that he got a signature bond. And he's tried cases in front of this judge before. So another thing that stuck out to me is that Carolyn, so the first time that we're introduced to her, she's dead. And like I said, she was in her underwear, she was tied up, which to me, it just seemed really gratuitous. Like, these people that are processing the scene, when you're a prosecutor, you go to crime scenes. And so these are people that know her, they've worked with her. Like, I just felt like there was no dignity in her death. Like, if they knew her, I kind of felt like in that scene, maybe her body should have been covered. And then maybe when Rusty came, maybe he uncovered her body to look. I just felt like there was no dignity in the way that she was treated. The majority of the scenes in these first two episodes are sex scenes that she's having with Rusty. There's very little scenes where she's actually clothed. There's very little that we get to see of her in the courtroom doing her actual job. And so I just kind of felt like there was no justice given to her as a character, as a woman in these two episodes. It's basically like she's a prop. And so I thought that struck me as very weird, because I would think that they would kind of want to make her sympathetic to make Rusty look worse, but they didn't do that. So that was interesting to me. Okay, so another thing about Jake Gyllenhaal's portrayal is, I might have said this before, so forgive me if I did, but as far as prosecutors go, they can be very smug. And there's a bit of smugness and entitlement to Jake Gyllenhaal's performance, but it's not quite where it needs to be. And again, if you watch the Fatal Attraction series on Paramount Plus, Joshua Jackson gets the smugness and the entitlement exactly right. Now, O.T. Fagbenle, I hope I'm saying that right, is in this as well. He plays Nico, who wins an election for district attorney. So he gives Rusty's character a demotion before they find out that he is a potential, that it's possible that he murdered Carolyn. So his performance is almost, with all due respect to him, is almost caricaturish, because he plays it so incredibly smug that it's to the point where he's almost being ridiculous and you can't really take him seriously. And I get he's not supposed to be likable, but I think he really missed the mark there. O.T. Fagbenle, you probably know him best from The Handmaid's Tale. That's where you know that name from, if you're trying to think where you know that name. I'm running out of time, so all in all, I would still recommend this series. The second episode is much better than the first. There's a great cliffhanger at the end of the episode. But do I think Rusty killed Carolyn? No, but we'll see. But yeah, I even with all my complaints, I still am enjoying the series. I recommend it to you. If you've watched it, let me know what you think in the comments. And I'm probably going to see y'all in a little bit, because I'm going to watch the last episode of, perfect match and post another video about that. See you soon.